So according to something I found on Twitterholic, in March 2007, the average Twitter user had 17 friends. According to HubSpot's State of the Twitter Sphere in December 2008, the average Twitter user had 70 friends. So let's imagine that by, say, March 2009, the average Twitter user has 100 friends. It seems entirely reasonable to think that the more people who get on the network, the more connections are made, and the number of average friends goes up. I just read somewhere an article in The Economist that on Facebook, the average Facebook user had 120 friends. And given the kind of affinity, commitment, and so forth on Twitter, I would imagine that the average Twitter user would easily exceed that in no time. So if you got 100 followers on average, the average user has 100 followers, and let's say they update 10 times a day. I couldn't find good stats on the web for that, but that seems reasonable, right? So then the average user is seeing 1,000 updates a day. But here's the thing I'm thinking about and trying to work out. The influential people, right, the kind of people at the top end of Twitter, have a lot more followers and followees. They follow a lot of people too, right, on average, right? So you can imagine that lots and lots of people already have 1,000 followers. If we call this the kind of high-performance Twitter user or something, let's say they also update 30 times a day instead of 10, because these are people who use the tools a lot and yada, yada, yada. So, and the other thing, of course, is that influential people follow each other on Twitter. So all of a sudden, if you have 1,000 followers, right, and you're following a bunch of people who also have a lot of friends, which is very common, and they all update a lot, right? These influential people update a lot. You are exposed to 30,000 tweets in a day, right? On average. Whatever, 20,000. So the thing about this is, as the network grows and grows, as the connections increase and the number of followers each person follows increases, the odds of any individual one of your tweets being seen seems to go down. If you only followed one person and they followed you, obviously there'd be this kind of relationship. However, and this is obviously Sociology 101 or something, I just didn't take it in school, but like, if you add 2 more users, all of a sudden you get much more connections and much more kind of volume, right? Now, if we increase this tenfold or 100-fold by orders of magnitude, it seems to me that it's going to grow inefficient over time. After all, how many tweets can we consume in a given day? So I think Jacob Nielsen came up with this thing, 99-1, which says on the web, 90% of people are consumers, 9 people are kind of editors, and 1 person is a creator, and that's the kind of pyramid of web use and web behavior. Twitter, I don't know, it doesn't seem to quite work this way. You know, there's no barrier to entry. You don't have to construct complete sentences. You don't need to have the technical know-how to create and edit a video. So in this sense, there's a kind of, I don't know, pure network democracy going on. So you got this old long tail thing here, and obviously the people up at this end are going to have no problem because they're going to be able to broadcast and reach lots and lots of people. But if the average user, say, someday has 300 people they're following, the average user is following 300 people and updates 10 times a day, that's 3,000 messages a day. And how many of those is anyone going to actually see? I think until we devise some personalization tools or more personalization tools or more people use things like TweetDeck and that sort of thing, shouldn't we be kind of worried about way too much signal? I'm not arguing that there'll be any more or less noise, but as the kind of incoming number of updates or tweets to each individual account grows, does the efficiency of the whole system start to decline? I don't really know.